I'm Dr. Lisa Barnett, Assistant Professor of American Religious History at Phillips Theological Seminary, and I am pleased to announce the release of my first book, Peyote Politics, The Making of the Native American Church, 1880 to 1937, that's been done with the University of Oklahoma Press. This was my dissertation at TCU, revised over the years, and now turned into a book that really traces the rise of this new American Indian religion called Peyoteism, as it comes from Mexico and the indigenous peoples there into the United States of America. And it takes on some different qualities as a sacred medicine and then becoming an adjunct in a ritual process of worship to Creator. And then, of course, as it continues to spread, it takes on other qualities, blending some Christian elements with certain parts of the ceremony with certain native peoples. But the book traces Peyoteism and its challenges, its opposition from both native and non-native peoples, particularly through the challenges of Congress. And each year in the early part of the 20th century, when they're trying to legislate the existence of Peyoteism as a legitimate religion out of existence. The Congress legislative efforts to try to ban Peyoteism as a religion because white Congress people are seeing that they think it's not legitimate. So what I'm trying to do is to trace then Peyotist responses using the political and the legal systems in order to maintain their right to religious freedom to practice Peyoteism. And this culminates actually in 1918 with the incorporation of the Native American Church of Oklahoma. Later it will become of the United States and later international when Canada tribes also pick up Peyoteism. But it's tracing again this two identities. What does it mean to be Native American and what does it mean to be American, and blending Native and American in a way that actually shows that these Peyotists are holding and adhering true to the principles of the U.S. Constitution long before many of them were given official citizenship status. So I think it's a great book. It also kind of delves into an early racialized war on drugs from Congress and administrations and missionary agents as well, and trying to draw peyote into that in order to ban and to criminalize it, and to try to legislate it out of existence. I think the thing to me that was most impressive, because I utilized, when you look at the endnotes in the book, I utilized so many newspaper stories, because the news was covering appearance of Peyotists in Oklahoma at the Convention for Statehood, and then subsequent writing of the state constitution when state legislatures early on were trying to ban the practice. And then when Peyotists started going to Washington, D.C. to lobby and to testify before Congress each and every time congressional legislation appeared, the newspapers were there. And what was remarkable was the recovery of Native voices, not only in the paper, but in the congressional testimonies that are recorded, and to read their words and to hear their passion for this religious practice that means so much to them, that, needs to be respected and observed in our own ideas of what religious diversity and religious freedom really mean in this country. This is my first book with my name actually on the cover. I've written chapters and edited collections, but this is my first full own work that, will be out for peer review and then, later now. Oh, wow, it feels great. When I first got the copies, I think Gina at the reception desk, when I opened it and looked at them, I think I had a little tear in my eye, because really this, during my dissertation stages, we often talk about this is your baby, right? And it's hard to do the editing and cut stuff out, to get the word count in because it's your baby. So it really is sort of like giving birth in a way to these scholarly ideas that are then going out for public consumption, and hopefully public appreciation of the scholarly work that's been done. I think for me, the most important thing, a lot of people say, well, what turned you on to this particular topic? This actually started when I was a student at Bright Divinity School working on my Master of Theology degree in American Religious History. And I had started with a whole different idea of what I wanted my thesis to be. But it was in an independent study class, I read George Tinker's book, Spirit and Resistance, where he was talking about coming back to Oklahoma, to Pawhuska area, to the Osage people, and participating in the Native American church. And I thought to myself, what is this? I grew up in Oklahoma, in Blackwell, just a county over from Pawhuska. I took Oklahoma history as a student. I have never heard of the Native American church. And so then I started researching, and the history was just fascinating. And then, of course, that thesis at Bright actually became one chapter in the dissertation and now the book. And then when I decided to study at TCU in the history department and take on the work for my dissertation, there was just so much more. And there's still so much more about this topic that I hope to pursue even in the future.